babysitter and the man upstairs is what we call an urban legend. Contemporary folklore passed on as a true story. Someone's in the back seat!
This is my series to dissect films, the good and the bad of them. Let's try to survive a killer on campus who is obviously superstitious about folklore in 1998's urban legend. Welcome to Why You Hate. Out of all the would-be Scream-type follow-ups in the mid-90s and beyond, this might be the most creative, at least on paper. Everyone wanted to duplicate the success of Wes Craven's genre-defining masterpiece. Some came close, and others totally missed the mark. Either way, all of them from 1996 to beyond the mid-2000s were compared to it. Right or wrong, that's just how the film industry works. You may be inspired by a film, but the real trick is, how can you bring something new and fresh along with it? Enter director Jamie Blanks, tasked with finding a way to outdo Scream. The question is, would horror fans believe in it, or would they turn away from it faster than Natalie did when Tosh was getting super freaky in the bed across the room? Let's get down to brass tacks. So get ready to not look in the back of your car seat even though you should. Mix Pop Rocks with Pepsi, cause why not? Run around the campus radio station dodging the axe murderer, and never ever run back to a place where murders took place, cause there's no one you can trust, not even your cute curly-haired BFF. Here are the reasons why you hate urban legend. Number 1. Story. A university is beset by a rash of gruesome murders that resemble old urban legends. When her friend Michelle is killed by someone hiding in her car, Natalie begins to notice the pattern. Her suspicions grow stronger when her own roommate is strangled to death. Soon the quiet college campus is transformed into hunting grounds for a maniac, and Natalie struggles to find the killer and stop the bloodshed before she becomes the next victim. The film has been credited by both cinema and folklore scholars as being one of the first major films to redistribute the urban legends and folklore depicted within it to the public. Filmed at the same university as Killer Party from 1986, another campus set slasher. Incidentally, both films feature a costume party at a fraternity, characters being targeted by a masked killer, and an urban legend about murder at an abandoned dormitory. The idea of weaving the story and kills around urban legends interested me from day one, and in that particular regard, the film didn't disappoint. I've always thought folklore and urban legends provided some really creepy situations ripe for a horror movie. You see these stories that you've heard about since you were a kid play out, and then you start thinking, that could or could have happened to me.
Oh shit!
And yes, before you even ask in the comments section, and that might be you, I'm gonna let you know, I have been a part of an urban legend myself. It was the gang initiation. I was driving on the road on a warm summer night, and I flashed a car with no lights on. Next thing I know, I was followed. It went on for about 10 minutes, and then I did what any normal American kid would do. I hit the gas and got the hell away from them. We all know that with movies, one of the most important things you first notice is the opening of the film, and urban legend definitely has a great one. As a matter of fact, the opening of this film is underrated in my opinion, and among some of the best of horror. So well done and unravels to a surprise kill. Great tension, music, and camera work. Plus, the small cameo of Brad Dourif as the gas station attendant was not only cool, but played right into horror fans' expectations that the man who voices Chucky himself would be a threat to Michelle Mancini. It is a scene that grabs you and demands you to pay attention from then on. Number 2. Characters. Alicia Witt was cast as the female lead Natalie, as the producers felt she was quote-unquote against type. and also a strong actress whose previous credits included Dune from 1984 and Twin Peaks from 1990. Witt said she was intrigued by the prospect of playing a survivor character who has to endure extraordinary circumstances. Natalie truly felt like a different type of final girl. Alicia was able to display so many emotions in the character. Most notably, she was able to show fear. It was a deep fear. Something in her eyes, maybe, and it was also her energy. There are those that feel as though she might be generic or maybe even called bland, but to me, she seemed very relatable. My biggest gripe is the script could have and should have given her even more to do, perhaps a full-fledged attack scene halfway through the runtime, instead of the quick one when Damon was killed. Melissa Joan Hart turned down the role of Natalie Simon, and also Reese Witherspoon turned down the role. Not wanting to be typecast as a scream queen, Jennifer Love Hewitt turned down the role of Natalie. She was offered the role because of her work in I Know What You Did Last Summer in 1997. Tara Reid was criminally underused and had no real moment except for that amazing chase and kill sequence, easily a standout of the film. Jodie Lynn O'Keefe was originally offered the role of Sasha, but turned it down to take part in Halloween H2O in 1998. Sarah Michelle Gellar accepted the role of Sasha, but had to back out due to schedule conflicts with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So, wait a minute. Sarah Michelle Gellar and Jennifer Love Hewitt could have starred in this together? That would have been awesome, a reunion of I Know What You Did Last Summer. Who knows, maybe it would have started a string of horror films that they would do together. I guess we'll never know.
And you blew it! You blew it!
Jared Leto was cast based on a dark quality he possessed that was at odds with his conventional appeal, and because he was already an established actor, known for his role on the teen drama series My So-Called Life in 1994. Although he has disowned the film and hates it, refusing to talk about it in interviews, I felt as though his performance was decent enough. Not up to his full capabilities for sure, but acceptable nonetheless. Joshua Jackson as Damon was the typical idiot prankster.
You fucking cockroach.
I usually enjoy roles that Jackson plays, but this one annoyed the ever-loving shit out of me.
Yeah, bitch.
You deserved to die, Damon. If only it could have been earlier in the film.
That's called motherfucking boys!
Danielle Harris, who had previously starred as Jamie Lloyd in Halloween 4 and Halloween 5, originally auditioned for the lead role of Natalie, but was instead cast as Tosh, her temperamental roommate. Danielle was a smoker at the time and thrilled to be allowed to smoke while working. She quickly realized that shooting scenes while smoking meant that she was going to have to smoke cigarettes for hours all day while they shot. She eventually got sick of it and quit smoking. Robert Englund, already well known for his portrayal of Freddy Krueger in the Elm Street film series, appears as Wexler, a psychology professor. Englund agreed to the part after being impressed by the concept of the screenplay, and was also a fan of several of the other cast members. Rebecca Gayheart was absolutely fantastic as Brenda Bates. She was the BFF that was bubbly and charismatic, and then in the reveal she strutted with a level of crazy that was absolutely banana pancakes. If only she could have continued in the genre. And I'm not talking about appearances in the sequel.
Back the fuck off!
Rebecca Gayheart auditioned for the role of Brenda, who reveals herself as the film's villain in the third act. Numerous actresses were interested in the role, and Gayheart recalled having to quote-unquote go in and fight for the part. She read for the role numerous times and performed multiple screen tests before the producers settled on her for the part. The production chose not to straighten Gayheart's hair, which is naturally curly, for the majority of the shoot, as they were concerned that it may foreshadow her revelation as the villain.
Oh shit!
During the finale, however, her signature tight curls have been straightened. Number 3. The Killer and Urban Legends. The Killer's outfit is based on the fact that the film was originally planned to be set in the middle of winter. When the weather was too warm, it was decided to drop the winter aspect of the storyline rather than fake the snow in all of the outdoor scenes and dress all of the extras in winter outfits, but they kept the Killer's costume. The look of the Killer was nothing special, and yet, I loved it. The axe as a primary weapon never disappoints. The killer was menacing and mysterious. As a horror fan, you can't ask for much more, and you can take that to the bank. The referenced urban legends include a caller to Sasha's radio show states that she replaced her roommate's birth control pills with baby aspirin. A caller to Sasha's radio show asked about her having her stomach pumped after performing oral sex and ingesting semen. A couple suffering from being stuck together after getting freaky call into Sasha's radio show. Professor Wexler discusses the babysitter and the man upstairs legend during his lecture, and Brenda claims it happened in her hometown. Parker suggests placing spider eggs and bubble yum as the killer's next move. Michelle is murdered by the killer in the back seat. This legend is also referenced by various people looking at the back seat or talking about it. Coverage of Michelle's murder in the university newspaper is covered up by the dean, referencing the university cover-up of campus murder, and the subsequent fears of the students reference the Hatchet Man legend, which has an unnamed killer targeting college campuses at random. The origins of the latter have been traced to serial killer Richard Speck. Brenda and Natalie attempt to invoke Bloody Mary at the entrance of Stanley Hall. Professor Wexler suggests eating Pop Rocks and drinking soda at the same time. The death of little Mikey from this is mentioned by Brenda. The killer later reenacts this legend on Parker, substituting soda with cleaning chemicals. Damon is hanging from a tree while Natalie is waiting in the car below. Gangs driving with their headlights turned off, pursuing the first driver to flash them and running him off of the road is mentioned by Sasha in the library. It is later revealed that Natalie and Michelle did this, killing a young man. It is subsequently reenacted by the killer on Natalie and the janitor, and finally revealed as central to the killer's motive. Natalie finds her roommate strangled to death next to her with a note saying, "Aren't you glad you didn't turn on the light?" The ankle slasher under the car legend is reenacted on Dean Adams. A guest at the fraternity party claims that the song Love Roller Coaster contains a real murder scream. Meanwhile, Sasha screams for her life on air during her radio broadcast. Parker finds the remains of his dog in the microwave, resembling the old lady dries wet dog in microwave legend. Brenda attempts to reenact the kidney heist on Natalie. One of the most common complaints, though, is how Brenda is able to pull off so many of the kills and traps that she does, including rigging a body in the tree and taking down victims much larger than she is, despite having the skinny build of Rebecca Gayheart. The ending reveals that the entire movie is being told between people as something that happened to, quote-unquote, a friend of a friend who went to the school. In other words, an urban legend. And like any urban legend, details are likely to have been altered in the retelling, exaggerating the killer's prowess and the brutality of the kills, if it even happened in the first place. That being said, Reese returning for the sequel and confirming that the events did happen squanders this theory. It also ignores the fact that many of the victims in the film were not only high-profile people like university staff, whose deaths would be noticed, but the killer was unmasked and revealed to Reese, a police officer who would definitely make a report of this. Number 4. Kills. The opening sequence was among the first to be filmed, as director Jamie Blanks wanted to present a completed sequence to the producers early on to assure them of his directorial abilities. It was filmed on location at a gas station outside of Toronto. To achieve the effect of the storm, artificial rain machines were used. For the film's final sequence inside Stanley Hall, the screenplay called for a dilapidated locale. The production found a rundown building in Toronto that was scheduled to be demolished, and were granted permission to shoot there. As the sequence takes place entirely at night, the crew built a scaffolding out of pipe that was draped in black tarping, giving the appearance of it being nighttime while inside the building. Composer Christopher Young also teaches music at UCLA and uses 3 scenes from this film to show his students which cues were his favorites that he had written throughout his career. One of these cues was the chase sequence involving Tara Reid, labeled Sexual Acts, on the film's soundtrack, as his all-time favorite action cues that he had written. Tara Reid performed her own stunts during her character's chase sequence, including the fall over the staircase landing, during which she was secured by a harness. According to Reid, The stuntman who performed the scene used a real axe throughout the filming of it. Throughout the shoot, Jamie Blank sought to keep the on-screen violence muted or implied rather than shown in explicit detail. Several moments of violence written in the script were not filmed, among them a shot of Wagner's character's severed head rolling onto the road after her decapitation. To be quite honest, I understand why he did this, but, in retrospect, being a horror movie, a slasher horror movie at that, there should have been a bit more gore and violence that was shown. The scene where the killer, revealed to be Brenda, is starting to cut at Natalie's side to remove her kidney before Reese intervenes was added in reshoots to increase the gore factor. Let's take a look at the official Why You Hate body count, shall we? The body count in Urban Legend is 9. Michelle Mancini, Damon Brooks, Tosh Goneri, Dean Adams, Parker, Sasha's technician, Sasha herself, Professor Wexler, and that weird janitor.
We're fine!
Number 5. Finale. The finale had a bunch of elements that gave it tons of high moments. Brenda fakes Natalie out and they ride away with Paul to get help. After seeing Wexler's body in the trunk, they run from Paul and get separated. I mean, there are red herrings all over the place here. Brenda lures Natalie back to Stanley Hall, and then the reveal happens. Best part though is, it isn't over even after Reese makes the hero save by shooting Brenda, and then Natalie also shoots Brenda. Brenda's getting shot a lot in this film, I'm just saying. In the car, she hides in the back and surprises the hell out of Paul and Natalie, making the callback to the opening scene. The struggle and the fight worked, but good old Paul slams the brakes and Brenda goes through the windshield and into the lake. Interestingly enough, the Latin motto of the university, which is featured on its emblem in some scenes, translates as, "The best friend did it." Brenda is seen wearing a blue ribbon around her neck at the end of the film. This is a vague reference to another urban legend about a girl whose head falls off if she removes the ribbon around her neck. The last name of the killer is Bates, and you know who they were referencing.
They'll see and they'll know, and they'll say, why, she wouldn't even harm a fly.
That's right. At the end of the film, students along with a surviving Brenda from an unnamed college recount the film's events as an urban legend. They joke about the tale's validity, and one says, "And I bet Brenda was the girl from the Noxzema commercials." Well, guess what? Rebecca Gayheart, who played Brenda in the film, did indeed appear in several commercials for Noxzema. As this film was created in the wake of Scream's major success and reviving of the slasher genre, several scenes and characters in the film are reminiscent of the first 2 films in that series, to the point where this film was accused of ripping those movies off. The scene where Parker is taunting the killer over the phone about the urban legend he thinks is being recreated is lifted from the first Scream. Both films' killers even use a voice synthesizer to disguise their voice. Sasha's death scene, where she is being chased in the radio station, is almost directly lifted from a similar scene in Scream 2. Reese Wilson's character is also partly influenced by Dewey Riley. Natalie is an obvious pale imitation of Sidney Prescott, to some.
Bullshit!
Paul is a ripoff of Gale Weathers. Both of them start off as selfish reporter characters who only cover the murders to get famous, only to have a change of heart, lose their desire for fame, and actually help out the main characters to take down the killer.
Give me all you got! Give me all you got!
Parker is the goofy comic relief friend, just like Stu Macher. Brenda, the film's killer, is a combination of 3 Scream characters: Billy Loomis, Hallie McDaniel, and Randy Meeks. Like Billy, she is the killer who has a motive against the main character, and by unmasking themselves, hurt them emotionally. Like Hallie McDaniel, she is sassy and genre-savvy, and tries to escape the college with the main character. Hallie McDaniel was supposed to be one of the killers in Scream 2, before the script leak forced rewrites to remove her as a killer. Brenda is also similar to Randy in that they're both self-aware meta-characters who know about cliches and tropes of horror movies, or in Brenda's case, urban legends. At the end of the day, Urban Legend gave us a fun mystery based on true folklore and urban legends, highlighting a killer that is dressed and ready to hang out in Antarctica with the Thing, and we as fans must deal with it. You have to ask yourself, was this a film worthy to follow in the footsteps of Scream? That is a question only you can answer. As always, this video is not here to make you love urban legend or to hate it. It's simply a discussion to highlight the history and aspects of it with you, the viewer. So what do you think? Are you a fan? If so, tell us why. If not, let's discuss why you hate urban legend. If you haven't hit the like button for more content, please do. If you're not subscribed to the Night Watch Zone, this is the time to do it, and become part of this fantastic movie community where you'll never love and discuss movies the same. If you like this video, check out some of my other Why You Hate videos and other content, including live streams here, and I'll see you there. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace.